You're looking for truth. There's truth out there, and you find some of it here and there and all that, and yet a huge amount of it that is out there never ever actually tells you where it's all coming from. Just talks about a subject and then never actually connecting any, you know, really, in regards to the direction that it's actually going with it all. It's interesting how much, how ignorant we have become in regards of the whole of Revelation, who is Rome, and in regards to the Antichrist, in regards of the so-called Pope. All roads leads to Rome, and there's a lot of lies in Latin. That's a Danish saying anyway, in regards of the lies in Latin. It sounds better in Danish, but anyway, actually. But in any case, we never get to, it's seemingly the root of it. You have so many people going into, the truth movement and trying to figure out, and of course they're being led astray as well into the occult. And yeah, seems to still have some problems in regards of getting it working, it seems. Well, at least one of the players seems to work. I guess I guess I'll just use one player overall. I guess it's also a little wasty on the website to have two players anyway. That nearly does the same thing pretty much. Well, nearly. There are some differences, but overall, oh, there we go. And let's see if it also opens the other one. No, it seems to not work. That's a problem in regards of opening both players and all that. Ah, there we go. It actually opened both of the players. Now it takes a little time to actually do it. I still do wonder why the colors are more of the old orange than the new orange that I put on. I don't know what that is about. That's weird. Because it should of course have had the new color. I'm not sure. Anyway, so a lot of people are going looking for the truth and all that, and finding some of it here and there. But we never really connect the dots. In regards of Rome. We have, the CIA, I remember in the past, and looking into in regards to the walls, I guess it's nearly 10 years ago when they hammered on the drums to wall, 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 in regards of Afghanistan and Iran. And then, at the point of Iran, but just before they went into, I threw my TV out. I just didn't, it was just bullshit. They just wall, 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 wall. I was like, well, I gave the TV away actually. I think there was a guy coming to pick it up. Anyway, so yeah, well. And I've been pretty happy, without a TV, Now, of course, because, going, wanting to go away from all that mainstream bullshit and these, liars and deceivers and warmongers and all that. But, the internet in, 10 years after has become so saturated with mainstream bullshit as well. So, it's very sad. And there's so much control on some of the platforms that people are using. All the big platforms that seem to be control of people. And of course a lot of advertising, which is also one of the reasons why I didn't want, the television bullshit, because you have all the advertising, and you couldn't, life is too short for advertising, all these bullshit advertising, promoting all these sinful things and using sensual thing, and promoting drinking and so forward, and gambling. I guess that's mostly on the internet actually. But I'm not entirely, but you know when you see it, it's just give me a break. Um, so and of course sport. Oh yeah, sport is a big deal, right? People love to look at something that is just totally well, the Roman circus, they love looking at the Roman circus, wasting their time with, people running around after a ball or something like that, or, it's just seeing people, bicycle and just using, what is it, 4 5, I don't know, a long time on this bullshit, seeing it on TV and all that. Anyway, and all the rest of the nonsense of the Roman circus. And then, of course, we have the Roman theater with all the pagan bullshit programs, things that are, the theater, where, there's a lot of pagan bullshit that, where the children are growing up and looking at this, and of course, they're desensitizing people or normalizing people in regards of sins and so forward. It's a great tool of of the devil to get us totally off track. And the thing is, we have no idea in regards of real history. We have no idea who our enemy is. We have not a clue. We are ignorant, and we don't want to know either. And if anyone comes to say anything, they are they're stamped as lunatics, or they're stamped as crazy, they're stamped as, it's in, they're, as what do they call this term, they're stamped, I just, they have this weird term that I began to be called many, many times. It's just an easy way to just discount the truth when you tell people, oh, you're just, what is it called, this term? Weird term that that apparently they picked up on the internet. When people think you're just, what is it called? I can't remember. But I've been called it a huge amount of time. And I was like, when I began to be called it, I was like, what is this term that people are using in regards of it? And it's so easy for people to just discount what you're saying. Well, no, he's just, was it that term? I can't remember. It's a very popular term nowadays, apparently. It was like, trolling. Oh, there we go. Trolling. He's just trolling. Yeah, okay. So that's so easy. You take all the information that the guy gives you, right? And then you just put out, oh, he's just trolling, right? Oh, he's put in the nutcase, or he's just put in the box of making, just doing it for fun and all that to get a reaction or whatever. It's just, the thing is, you just put in a box where people then can discount what you're saying. Well, a great tool of Satan again, right? And you see that being used again and again and again. I've seen that being used. Very, very cheap, very, very cheap. To use that. Oh, he's just trolling. Oh, he must be trolling. Oh, that's false witness. That's false witness, actually saying that another is, in regards of what the idea of the term is. That's actually false witness. That is lying. And thereby the information gets discounted by most of the people. Because he must be trolling, because this sounds so anyway, so we have the Jesuits, and we of course have Rome. Now Rome, of course, will be destroyed in the future at some point, but the Antichrist will continue. The question, of course, I'm not entirely sure how that will work out. I guess at some point there will, well, I think at the point in the future when this will happen, the Antichrist probably have so much power anyway, so he doesn't need the deceptive system anymore, because he's probably have at that point most of the world, totally deceived in what is called, obvious paganism again. So he will probably not need it, and thereby the 10 kings will destroy the city. And when it's talking about a city, sometimes it's talking also about, more than a city. So I don't know how much, will be going on that point, but at least the city is said to be destroyed. So that is, of course, still future. So yeah. Well, I remember being in the truth movement, and there was a lot of people actually just looking for the truth, and you had a lot of good sources. A lot of people put up actually pretty good sources in regards of following along and all that. You had a pretty good network of people that. But the thing is with the truth movement is that it also mixes with paganism. Because people are looking for truth, and then it begins to go in the direction of pagan bullshit. And when you become a Christian, a believer in Yeshua, you are not really fitting into the truth movement because people can't handle the truth of Jesus Christ. So you get into a lot of conflict with the people in that movement. And of course that's interesting. It's interesting because of course some people are still just looking for the truth, but it's interesting that people actually being ascribed to the truth movement and looking for truth and all that, and then when you tell them anything about Jesus Christ, then it's you have said something that's totally they can't accept it, and so I don't have that network anymore. It was a nice network to have. Facebook in the past had a lot of, Facebook friends that you had the same in regards of truth, looking for truth and all that. But you figure out that, people are not, they reject the most important truth in regards of Jesus Christ. And then they never perceive what is actually going on. They see the things, and they actually many of them actually end up promoting pagan bullshit. They're working for Satan, and yet, it's called they're seeking truth, and they're still getting some truth, and yet it's mixing with this pagan bullshit, and they don't want to have anything to do with Jesus Christ, and. It's just interesting. Truth movement should seek truth, right? And then, of course, the truth movement began to use the Jesuit mask. I'm like, the Jesuit mask. So what does the Jesuit mask represent? Well, the Jesuit mask is in regards to the Guy Fawkes mask. That's a Catholic mask. They wanted to blow up what? The Parliament. So... I'm not, why would I, and besides that, why would I hide behind the mask? If I'm for truth, why would I hide behind the mask? It's like the Mohammedans hide behind their, don't want their faces shown and all that. If you have someone hiding their face, it's, usually not a good sign, And, so I don't understand the truth, a truth movement using a mask, not having their faces seen. I just don't understand. I didn't know the history of the mask at that moment, at that point in regards of Guy Fawkes. But looking at the mask, it just looks absolutely diabolical, And then when you know the history of the mask, why would you ever walk around with a mask like that? They wanted to blow up the Protestant Parliament in England. That's what they wanted to do. And so, and of course there's another in regards to the cartoons, in regards of this mask as well, where you have satanic doctrines as well, with the, what is it called? But anyway, you can lead that back to Satanism, where you have satanic quotes in the cartoons, and for this guy, in regards of, well, anyway, so there's a lot of links in regards of, so why would a truth movement ever begin to use that mask? I really didn't understand that, just in regards of hiding behind, in regards to the cartoons, and of course later on finding out the history of this Guy Fawkes mask, which leads you back to in regards of Romanism wanting to blow up the Protestant Parliament, the Jesuits. Now, now these Jesuits or special soldiers of Satan are still working in our days, and it's just people don't care. People have, they have the things going. They have more. We don't know any history anymore. I really wonder in regards to World War II if they actually killed a lot of the people that actually stood for the truth. Um, Maybe they handpicked them out. Those people that was absolute. I don't know, because it's just interesting to see how much we have lost of truth. And of course there was a lot of people killed in the Second World War or Inquisition. Of course, having Protestants, Protestant nations warring against other Protestant nations. It's just, you have to be kidding me. The three greatest Protestant nations, warring against each other. That something seems wrong here. Why would the three Protestant nations, be warring against each other? That doesn't make any sense. And I'm talking about America, the U.S., England and Germany. I remember reading or listening to a book from 1898, before the wars and all that. And they're talking about the three biggest Protestant, nations in the world. The U.S., England, and Germany. Now, I can't remember the order of it, but anyways. So why would these three ever go into war with each other, Well, historically, we have had an enemy, a common enemy, at least the Protestants, Of course, the U.S. is, as far as I can gather, well, I actually think that's a pretty much evident, I think it's actually pretty clear that the U.S. is used as a hammer of the Roman, pontiff or the Antichrist. The U.S. is used for all the, for again getting the new world, order around. I call it poop doom. So making wars around the world and all that, and that's just insane. But yeah, well, anyway, but we never. It's in regards to the truth movement, it never really it's never really looking in the direction of Rome. It seems, it just seems like they're just overlooking. They're just overlooking this, in regards to Rome and the Antichrist, because they, don't go and read the Bible and old history, because that's they seem to be held in the position of this deception in some sense. So Satan is using truth to actually deceive people by leading them off course. It's very diabolical. It's just incredible. So people actually seeking truth, Satan picking them up and leading them into paganism. I was one of them that was led into paganism and all these pagan practices. This is incredible. It's disgusting. And just looking for the truth, and I found the truth where I did not expect to find it. The only place that I didn't look, actually. In regards to Jesus Christ, Yeshua HaMashiach. And yeah, well, I at least expected it, because I had pretty much already discounted, Christianity from the past. I was a believing atheist, and yeah, pretty much. The priest pretty much killed my last little faith. Whatever. He didn't do a good job in regards of giving me any interest in that subject for sure. And already there, I had lost a lot because you were trained by society into evolution thoughts, and of course a lot of people are atheists in these days. So already at that point I was, but he couldn't even answer some of the questions that I've today found found out how to answer. It's, and these people are educated, it's just sad to listen to these, people calling themselves for, they're mixing pagan bullshit with the Bible, on so many levels, It's just incredible, they're just, yeah, let's not stand for the Bible. Like, you would expect the church to stand on the Bible, right? Wrong. Apparently, that's absolutely wrong because they're just, they are pretty much the promoters, of all this pagan bullshit. At least they're not keeping back, that's for sure. Oh, something pagan, let's get that into the church, right? But keep those Judaizing festivals and the Sabbath outside the church, and, a lot of other things, But, anything pagan, yep, let's get that in. They think it's like a game or something like that. This is just a fun thing, or that, they're not taking the Bible seriously, apparently, because they're keeping to these pagan traditions. And the one thing is to do it in ignorance, keeping these festivals in ignorance because you don't know better. Another thing is to know that they have pagan roots and then continue to do it. And when we read the Bible, you have festivals found in the Bible. What about those? Oh, no, we'll not keep those. Why not? Well, it's Judaizing and all that, and we don't want to be like the Jews. Jesus was a Jew, and that was the festivals he kept, Oh, my. It's breaking all the traditions, of the elders and the Pharisees and so forth, of the leaders. And, I think he would pretty much be the first one doing the same thing in our days, I don't, he probably wouldn't even be, if he wanted to go to church, he probably would be thrown out at the very instant, Oh, you're a Judaizer, legalist, extremist, right, and so forward, It's very sad. It's very, very, very sad, You hear about people being thrown out of the churches because they talk about something like the Sabbath, for example, Saying, well, the Sabbath is, oh, no, you apparently can't be in church now. Well, the priest, and, it's disgusting because if we have the spirit of truth in us, we should follow truth, right? So why are these institutions not following the truth? Why are they continuing to promote this pagan Roman bullshit, It's disgusting. Anyway, so where are the issues in all of these? Well, the Jesuits are the special soldiers of Satan, the soldiers of Ignatius Loyola. And as I understand it, he started out actually, they started out calling the Jesuits, or the Society of Jesus, they started to call it the Soldiers of Mary, which actually makes pretty good sense. Actually, it's also interesting, if you go to Samaria, or Shinaria, biblical, it would be Shinar, in regards to, so that would be Shinaria, not Sumeria. But in our days, the scholars call it Sumeria, even if apparently they do understand that that's missing a H at least. So it would be Shumer and not Sumer. But anyway, they didn't fix that. And of course, in biblical terms, it would be Shinar. Now, of course, the H would just make it a little closer in regards of the biblical interpretation of it, Shinar. But anyway, so in regards to Shinaria or Sumeria, if you go back to look at their pagan bullshit gods and, and all that, and see some of the symbols, a lot of the symbols from the past are still being used in our days. Oh my, I'm itching in my ear. In my nose, sorry. So a lot of the pagan symbols are still used in our days. And it's, you see some connections here and there, which are very interesting. If the Jesuits are, I saw this in regards of the Jesuits being being fixed with the fixed with the symbol of Venus. Now, if they're calling themselves the the soldiers of Mary, the Knights of Mary, like the Knights of Malta, which is actually just the Knights of the Hospitalos, and then you have the Knights of Knights of I'm looking for the word at the moment. Knights of the Templars. Apparently, that seems to the Freemasons believe that they are the Knights of the Templars, and of course, who had the authority over the Templars? Well, of course, the Antichrist. The same thing with the Knights of Malta. They are under the authority of the Antichrist. That would be the so-called Pope. And then we have the Knights of Columbus as well. But anyway, so we have different, but apparently it seems like the Jesuits was, I need to do some more verifications into that, but it seems like that he named it the Knights of Mary. So if that is true, and then you find a symbol in regards of Venus, in regards of Inanna, the Queen of Heaven, and in regards of Inanna becoming Easter, of course, it totally makes sense in regards of keeping the festival of Easter, all this pagan bullshit. See all the links, of course they will deny, here and there and all that. But there's so many links and showing that this is pagan bullshit, But anyway, but it's just interesting link in regards of the so-called Mary that the Roman Catholic people are praying to and, lighting candles in front and all that bullshit, idolatry, well, it's just interesting, having her as the Queen of Heaven, which also goes back to Sumer in regards of Inanna, which again, Inanna is Easter, and have a huge amount of other different names. Of course, having some variations here and there and all that, that's usually pagan bullshit, they tend to get some variations here and there, but and of course Inanna and Easter is in regards of Venus. So you actually have a pagan trinity or triad already at the beginning of civilization after the flood in Sumer. And how do we know that? Well, we can go back and look at the pictures, for example, or some of the writings and so forward. And this pagan trinity, apparently you can find that in many civilizations, like the Hittites, the Babylonians, the Akkadians, and of course the Sumerians. So you find this trinity going out in the world under different names. But if you go to Sumer, you can find images for yourself and look at. They didn't have cameras as far as I know, but they did have some rolls, and you can roll it out on a layer of clay, and there you go, a picture. And many of these pictures that are shown have actually a huge amount of the pictures that are shown have this pagan trinity. And you can see the symbols and all that. And one of the symbols for Inanna, which is Venus, is an 8-pointed star. Now there seems to be more variations and all that, but that's one of the symbols in regards to that. So that's just interesting if you can actually find it related to, the Jesuits. And if they actually called themselves the Knights of Mary in the beginning, that just makes another interesting link in regards to what kind of Mary that they are actually into. Wouldn't be the Mary of the Bible, but of course we know it's not the Mary of the Bible because, she was not an everlasting virgin. Joseph knew her wife, but of course the Roman Catholics twist the scriptures to their own destruction and make up their own version of Mary. And of course another interesting thing in that sense is that the Mohammedans have the exact same twisting and bullshit of the same thing. Isn't that interesting? So why would they believe pretty much the exact same things as the Roman Catholics in regards to Mary? That's one of those links that just seems to go in the direction that maybe Rome actually could have created Mohammedanism and trained Muhammad and all that. They have the motive for doing it. They have the, what do you call it, the incentive to do it in regards of they have a battle. Rome has a struggle between the Eastern Empire and the Western Empire. You have to the east and the west, and we have a battle between in regards of authority, who should be on the top, who should be the bishop of bishop and all that. And apparently that's also where he begins to use the Pontifex Maximus title as authority, because now Rome is not that, that great city that it once was. So, but they're still power hungry, bullshit institution and all that. So what could be the motive and incentive to create, train up Muhammad? Well, to kill all the Christians in the East, and if you can destroy the Eastern Empire and you control the Mohammedans that you create, which apparently seemed to go a little off course for them, as I understand it. So, and then of course came the Crusades. But anyway, but this is just one of these where you're thinking like fingerprints, it's like, that's curious, right? Why would they believe the same falsehood? Why would the Mohammedans believe the same falsehood about Mary that the Roman Catholics are believing, It's just bullshit. And if you think about it, the Roman Empire, half of the Roman Empire, the Mohammedans got pretty quickly, and the other half of the Roman Empire, came under the wings of the Antichrist, But of course, if the Antichrist already in control of the Mohammedans, you have a full, you have the full Roman Empire, and actually you have more than the full Roman Empire then under the control of the Antichrist, which is Satan's puppet. A huge amount of the world are considered Mohammedans, and of course you have Catholics as well. So it's a huge amount of the world and who is that primarily an enemy? The Protestants, of course, the Christians that becomes Protestant by reading the Bible and knowing real history. Those are the main enemies for this bullshit institution. And why would that be? Well, because the Protestants protested the Antichrist and pointed out who the Antichrist was. And of course, that is a big danger for, So, the Protestants are the main enemy of the Jesuits. These special soldiers of Loyola, Ignatius Loyola, who is the black general, the shadow of the white stinking poop, and he's the general of the Jesuits, So, and we have no idea what is going on around us. Yeah. And then when we go in regards to the Bible, people will just discount the Bible, which is really, really stupid, And it's just very sad. And we have come to a so low point that people will just discount anything and everything, and they don't want to hear anything about the Bible. They don't see any worth in the Bible at all. It is really, really, we are really, really, it's really bad. It's really, 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 really bad. And it's really sad as well to see. I really do wonder in regards of that color of the players. Because they should have the same color, and yet that's not the case. And of course, it breaks because it's not really fixed for that mode. So that's a lot of problems in regards to that. And then it works on the other side. There we go. Well, apparently it's just a little too high to actually see the close button. Not sure. Uh-oh. No. The close button is down here. Okay, I moved the close button. So it's just it's a little hard when this thing is in the way, of course. Yeah, you just had to be in the way, you know. Of course, I can probably fix the chat off. Where's the chat? No, that's not it. There we go. And okay, so there we go. So I can actually close it down. It comes from. There we go. I really don't know why the colors would be out of order, because and it seems like all the colors seems to be the same in regards to this more orange thing, which is weird because as far as I remember, I put the new colors on, you know, the slightly more what shall we say, more light in regards of what do you call it? More of this kind, less of the dark, you know. So I don't know why that would be, you know. What did I do? I installed both of them. I don't know. You know, there's so many things, and trying to get things sorted out and all that. But the video player breaks at the moment because, you know, the new version apparently has some problems. So I do have some of the older versions of the player that I could, you know, go back to, you know, and wait for him to fix it. Or just wait for him to fix the thing, you know, for the next update, hopefully. Who knows? There's probably going to be other issues. I also looked into in regards to the 360 degrees videos that is out there. I found actually a place where there was some videos in regards to Jerusalem and all that. You know, and Israel and Rome and all that. Found out there was only 2 of the resolutions that actually worked in the player. So the others, you know, messed up the video. Now you could still see it, but it messed up the video. It's incredible how tired I am, and, you know, it's not really, I guess it might be a good thing that I'm nearly done with the diflucan for this, you know, and I think it might be a good idea just to stop it, the diflucan. But I still have for a couple of days left on the diflucan and the berberine and all that. I was actually kind of, you know, I didn't know if I had berberine enough to actually go on. But it seems like that I will still have berberine after I'm finished with the diflucan. So I've taken a good amount of berberine as well, you know, to make it. But still, yeah, well, I'll have to see, you know, after the break. After the diflucan runs out, I'm going to take a break from all these things and see how it goes. And hopefully continue with the swimming, but it's incredible how much, I don't know if it's the swimming or what, that makes me totally, or maybe a combination of it all that makes me not feel so good. Anyway, so I've been trying around with the website, of course. I'm trying to get, you know, yeah, it's a little problematic that the video player not working in mobile mode. Because of course we, you know, want to have that working, and of course having I've tried to fix 2 players in the page now, and it does seem to work. Running into some new issues here and there in regards of opening. You know, I tried to have it in the down left, you know, down here, but when you had opened the video player, then this one would still be up there and showing, and so I put it up here, but of course now it blocks in regards to Jesus God Almighty. But I'll have to sort things out in regards to the text anyway to see if I can get it to the right. So that would be some CSS, but again, I can't remember much, but in regards to HTML, but it should be possible to move it to the right and so forward and go into that. But at least it seems to have a working web page now in regards of the and the menu is one place. So I do wonder in regards to the bar actually that I put in, I think it might actually still be in the file of the menu, which is nice. So even if I make more material and all that, I will still be able to change. Wait. It might be a problem in regards. That might not be put. I don't think I actually have put that in that single file. That might be something to look into, to actually put all the information in regards to the top bar into a specific HTML document. Not only the menu, but everything in regards of the top bar. So again, if I change anything in that HTML file, it will change it on every single page. So I don't need to change it on every single page also, and do tedious work. But anyway, yeah. So it works. As you can see, I have both the players loaded, so that's nice. We can just close it down. But I do think it seems to take a little longer to load when it needs to load both of the applications, both of the players. And I guess I really only need one of the players to work, because they pretty much does, a lot of the same thing, they are playing, videos and music and all that. So now, of course, one player, the music player, can actually run from one page to another page and continue from where it is. So would be nice with some more of the features in the video player. So again, it's a little, that one player actually, have some features that the other player doesn't have, and the other player doesn't have some features that the other, and it just, instead of just having one main program that would have been able to, do everything in some sense, would have been nice. But besides that, I guess it's moving forward. I'm of course running into some issues here and there with it. I need to figure out what to do with. I think it's around 2 seconds it takes to load. It's not totally bad, but when you have two, it seems to take a little, and of course it has another player that it needs to load. But it seems to work at the moment without actually complaining in regards of not being able to find. Of course, I need more testing, but it does seem to just work. I do wonder what happens if I do like this. Okay, it moves up. Question is if it does it, if I actually reload it with it, or if it hides behind the bar, because that would of course be bad. Yeah, it closes behind the bar. That's of course not a good thing, that it would hide behind the bar. It's usually I had this where it opens automatically in the beginning, but I've fix that feature off, so you don't get it on your face in the beginning. Again, it looks, it works, it's functional, but of course the idea is not to hide behind the bar. The idea was to, of course, have it like this at least. If you have, so that might be a problem that I need to look into as well. So, well, yeah. Of course, I need to fix in regards to the menu and all that, but as long as it's working now, I can go from there. At this point, I can actually begin making, pages and put them in there and, write something. The Jesus God Almighty notes collected years ago, I would like to look into in some sense, and just fix things in regards to word versions or something like that, and make it more, well, I think they're pretty good. They're just some of it I use Hebrew names and some of it I use English names. Using different editions and all that. It might be a little confusing and all that, but it was just notes that I collected. So I would also have this to be a little smaller. So I need to look into that. I know you can make it, but then it becomes seemingly a little too small, it seems. But I have to look into how to do that as well. And of course, clean house. And there's a lot of CSS where you have a huge, gigantic CSS file, because I put it in from W3, and a lot of it I don't really need. And it's just overloading things a little. And it seems I was into this loading page, how long it takes to load this and that and all that, and it seems to take time for it to load these bigger files as well. So the more that I can cut off, the better, I think, it seems. So the less it is, the less things it is to go through for it. But yeah, it works. That's nice. Again, I have no idea why the colors wouldn't be the same. And it's interesting if it's actually working now with the other plugin that I have. It does seem to load the bottom. Yeah, that's loading, yeah, and let's see, that actually starts loading the top as well. Very nice. I put it in a different order this time in regards of the playlist and all that, and apparently, even if it did take some time to load, as you could see, I would guess 4 seconds maybe, or more, maybe 5 seconds for it to load everything. But the thing is, it did load both of them. It didn't come up with an error or stop loading or anything. So it seems to. I seem to have found a way to get it working. I'm not entirely sure if it's. There might still be problems, but let's see. It's loading the top bar now. The question is it going to load the program at the bottom? And I guess it might be broke already. Okay, it loaded the top bar, but it doesn't seem to have loaded. No, it given. There's an error in regards of the other. So it might still have problems, and I might need to fix that and stop using the HTML include document or script to actually. Would have been nice if it would be able to, but if it doesn't load the first time that you go on the page, that's of course is a problem. So it might just be better to not use the JavaScript for that, or ask some people in regards to why it would do it maybe. So it seems to still, but at least it seems to be mostly working, So should really try to reset them all and go from there. You go. See loading that one thing, and then it loads the other thing as well. Again, I have no idea why it wouldn't work, because the information is in there, and it's more like a woman problem. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't work, which is, it's not how it should be. Either or not is usually the way it was in the past. Either it worked or it didn't work. But in our crazy days, with all these, computers are working more like women than they're in regards of men. In regards of maybe or maybe not. You can do the same thing like 10 times, and you might have different results, and that's not how it should be. Why would you have different results when you have either or not? But no, that's just our crazy daisyness in our days. And it's just weird. Let's see here, privacy and... Okay, maybe just go back here. I'll just close these off here. I'll let that one be. Maybe I could just copy paste it to my Facebook and close that down. Oh, give me a break. It's just this Google crazy bullshit browser. I was told that I use these Litrene, whatever language and all that. I was like, I don't really know that word, so I'll look that up. So, very interesting. Latrine. Just trying to explain, in regards of, apparently it's much more concerning in regards of how I write compared to the truth in regards to the Antichrist, because, of course, people don't want to hear about the Antichrist. It's interesting how quickly you can actually become very unpopular by speaking about the Antichrist. Okay, so we have that fixed, and okay, we need to just delete everything in regards of history. No. Settings. What is? I think it was settings. In regard, the different browsers have these, clear browsing thing. I'm not even sure what. There's probably a way to be able to actually site settings. Let's go to be able to not make the browser use. Because it's very annoying when you're making a website that it actually loading the website in the cache, because it might not update in regards of things that you're updating, so that's tedious, that's annoying. It's one of these things when you're making a website that doesn't make it easier to but that might be a way to turn that off. Haven't looked into that, but that would actually be nice. So the browser would never ever, so you wouldn't need to go into privacy and go into clear browsing data and all that, and advanced and autofill and site setting, clear data and all that. It's annoying to just, and you need to find out where the browser, of course, have the setting overall. And let's see here. Let's close that one, that one, okay, and that one. My main browser here, and just go in settings and clear data and clear it. Well, we can just clear it all. Just clear everything. There we go. And then, of course, I just need to restart the mobile, and I'll try again to go onto these different to my page and see what happens, and go from there. Oh, we have a full moon, so it's the middle of the month. So that's it's around a month until Passover from here. So it's nice. It is interesting that so many Christians don't want to talk about the Antichrist. It's so interesting that things about the Antichrist are getting censored everywhere. And of course, if you just have some Roman Catholics or Jesuits that have infiltrated a group or whatever and all that, if they are administrators and all that, they can just control it from the inside, and of course lock you down. Be careful of wolves in sheep clothing. And I can only hope that more people will wake up in regards to some of the things that I write, and begin to themselves search things out, and thereby they will, get the same persecution and deleting of information as I do when they try to tell people about the Antichrist, So anyway, I guess that's it. I have a room of 5, a little less than 5. What is this? I have a little less than 5 hours to eat, and then I'll stop eating. So I'm ready for swimming tomorrow. So I'll fill up my tank the next 5 hours, but I'm really not hungry, so that's of course a problem. But I'll see if I can get at least 500 grams of meat into the tank, and then fast for the swim. So that will be pretty great. Oh well, it's still itching on my arms, and I'm nearing the end of the diflucan, and I still have the itching on my arms. It's still there. I would really have hoped it would take it totally out on the diflucan and all that, but seemingly still having it. So very sad. I don't, hopefully when I stop doing all these things that maybe it will give me a break in regards of not aggravating it anymore or something like that. I'll have to see. That would be nice, but yeah, I'm still there, after nearly 4 weeks of diflucan. So it's and the other things that I tried and had my hope in. Well, oh well, that's just how it is, I guess. Of course, there's other things that I can try out, which I should look into. But anyway, I'm getting tired of, anyway, I need a break from it all. Regards of, well, anyway, and of course they're keeping Purim at the moment, which is not a festival that is found in the Torah. But I'll stop now. I guess I got a little off topic as usual. But yeah, anyway, I guess I'll toy around a little more with the player and it would be nice to have both players one place, so I could just edit it and have it one instead of two places or more or whatever. Then I could always take one of them off, but it does seem like I'm getting more load time and getting me some more difficulties with another player. So yeah, not entirely sure what to do here, but it would probably be best just to use one of the players. So the video player would probably be the one that that seems to be the thing that I use a pretty good amount as well. Looking at videos and all that, it works pretty good compared to that. It just it would just be nice to have fixed some of the issues with it, and of course hopefully in the future there will be an update fixing the things. Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Anyway, have a good one, all of you. May Jehovah be with you, and Yeshua be your most precious pearl, and the Spirit of truth be in us all. Amen. Have a good one. Bye bye. Shalom.